Imagine you are sitting by the window, watching the world outside move at its usual fast pace. You see younger people rushing to work, children playing without a care, and families making memories. You take a deep breath, and for a moment, you wonder, where did all those years go? Life felt so busy, so full of possibilities, but now, it feels different. It's not just about aging, it's about what comes with it. The regrets, the changes, the things you wish you had done differently. Have you ever felt like time slipped through your fingers? Do you ever look back and wonder if you lived life the way you truly wanted? Have you found yourself stuck in past mistakes, unable to let go? If so, you're not alone. Many people over 60 face these thoughts, yet few talk about them openly. Let's take a simple example. Imagine you had a beautiful garden but never took care of it. Over time, weeds grew, flowers withered, and the soil lost its richness. Now, you look at it and feel a sense of loss. That's how life can feel when we ignore the important things, our health, our peace, our purpose. But what if I told you it's never too late to bring life back to that garden? Welcome to Stoic Journey, a place where we explore deep wisdom, self-improvement, and the truths that often go unnoticed. If you're new here, let me ask you something. Do you know that there are so many views on this channel, but only 0.2% subscribe? If you find value in what we discuss, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Your support helps us bring more meaningful content to you. Drop your thoughts in the comments. We read every single one of them. Aging is inevitable, but suffering is optional. Many people make mistakes after 60 that create unnecessary struggles in their lives. These mistakes are not about physical aging, but about the way we think, the habits we hold on to, and the lessons we refuse to learn. The good news? Buddhism offers timeless wisdom that can help. Through this video, we will uncover the biggest mistakes people make after 60 and how Buddhist teachings can guide us to a more peaceful and fulfilling life. The key to happiness isn't in fighting aging, it's in understanding it. The next part will take us deeper into the mistakes of clinging to the past and how letting go can bring true peace. Stay with us, because what you'll learn might just change the way you see the rest of your life. Clinging to the past, the weight of regret. Sit down for a moment. Take a deep breath. Close your eyes if you wish. Let me take you on a small journey, not forward, but backward. Imagine yourself standing in front of a great river. The water flows endlessly, moving with the rhythm of time itself. You reach down and try to hold it in your hands, but no matter how tightly you grip, the water slips away. This is the past. It is gone, yet so many people spend their days trying to hold on to it. At 60, you have lived through joy and sorrow, love and loss, victory and failure. Some memories make you smile. Others fill you with regret. But the question is, how much of your life today is shaped by what has already happened? How often do you find yourself lost in thoughts of what could have been? Many people carry the past like a heavy stone on their backs. They replay old mistakes, relive painful moments, and wonder why life didn't turn out differently. A missed opportunity, a broken relationship, a decision that led to suffering. They hold on to these moments, believing that if they think about them long enough, they will find a way to change them. But no amount of thought can rewrite what has already been written. In Buddhism, we talk about impermanence and anicca. Nothing stays the same. Everything changes. The past is not a place we can return to, no matter how much we wish for it. Yet, the mind clings to it like an old book we refuse to close, even when the story no longer serves us. Let me tell you a small story. There were once two monks walking along a muddy path. They reached a river where a woman stood, unable to cross. One of the monks lifted her onto his back, carried her across, and gently placed her down on the other side. The two monks then continued on their journey. After some time, the second monk could no longer stay silent. He turned to his companion and said, "Why did you carry that woman? We, as monks, are not supposed to touch women." The first monk smiled and replied, "I put her down back at the river. Why are you still carrying her?" This is how many people live after 60. They continue carrying things they should have put down long ago. They hold grudges. They relive arguments. They dwell on failures. But what does this achieve? Does it bring peace? Or does it only deepen suffering? You may have loved people who are no longer in your life. You may have made choices that you now regret. You may have lost things that were once precious. But do you see? These are just thoughts now. Shadows of a time that no longer exists. The more you hold on to them, the less you can truly live in the present. Think of a tree in autumn. It does not cry for its fallen leaves. It does not hold on to them, hoping they will return. It simply lets go, knowing that new leaves will come in time. Life works the same way. If you do not release the past, you cannot make space for new growth. Some people fear letting go. They think that if they stop thinking about the past, they will lose a part of themselves. But the truth is, you do not lose anything. You gain freedom. You gain peace. You gain the ability to fully embrace the present moment. The past is lessons, yes, but it is not meant to be a prison. Learn from it, then set it down. Do not let it weigh you down any longer. So, I ask you, what are you still carrying? What memories, regrets, or mistakes have you refused to release? Take a deep breath. Imagine placing them on the ground. Walk forward, lighter, freer, ready to embrace the life that is still unfolding before you. Because life does not end at 60. In many ways, it is just beginning. Resisting change, the illusion of stability. Sit with me for a moment. Breathe in. Breathe out. Feel the air around you. Do you notice how everything is always moving? The trees sway, the clouds shift, the seasons change, and yet, we humans often resist the very nature of life change. After 60, many people fall into a silent battle with time. They long for the past, hold on to routines, and resist anything unfamiliar. They convince themselves that stability is the only thing left to hold on to. But stability is an illusion. It is like trying to catch the wind with your bare hands. No matter how tightly you close your fingers, the wind slips away. Think about how water flows in a river. If the water stops moving, it becomes stagnant. It loses its freshness, its purity. Life is the same. When we resist change, we become stuck. We stop learning, we stop growing, and we slowly turn into a version of ourselves that no longer feels alive. Many people wake up in the morning and feel a sense of discomfort. They think, the world is changing too fast. I don't understand technology. I don't like how society is shifting. Everything was better before. This resistance creates frustration, not because the world is wrong, but because they are refusing to flow with it. Aging is not about staying the same. It is about transforming. The body changes, the mind shifts, and the world moves forward. If we spend all our energy fighting this, we waste precious moments that could be filled with peace. Imagine holding on to a rope that is being pulled away from you. The tighter you grip, the more it burns your hands. But the moment you let go, the pain stops. Buddhism teaches us that everything is impermanent. The trees that stand tall today will one day return to the earth. The waves that crash against the shore will always pull back into the sea. Everything rises and falls, comes and goes. When we accept this, we stop fearing change. We begin to see it as a natural part of existence. Think of a person who refuses to try new things. They eat the same food, follow the same routine, and talk to the same people. At first, this feels comfortable. But over time, life starts to feel small. They look around and realize that the world has moved forward without them. They feel left behind. But the truth is, they left themselves behind. Change is not something to be feared. It is something to be embraced. After 60, this becomes even more important. This is the time to open the mind, to explore, to learn. It is never too late to start something new, to travel, to meet new people, to pick up a book you've never read before, to listen to music from a different generation. Life does not stop offering experiences just because we reach a certain age. It is only our resistance that makes it feel that way. Let's take an example. Imagine two people in their 60s. One of them refuses to adapt. They say, "This is how I've always done things, and I'm not going to change now." The other person remains open. They learn new skills, they listen to new ideas, they stay curious. 10 years later, the first person feels isolated, left out, and bitter. The second person feels alive, engaged, and at peace. The difference? One resisted change. The other flowed with it. Many people fear that if they change, they will lose themselves. But the truth is, by resisting change, they lose themselves even faster. Life does not ask us to remain the same. It asks us to grow, to adapt, to keep moving forward with grace. Buddhist wisdom tells us to live in the present moment. The past is gone. The future is uncertain. But right now, in this moment, we have a choice to resist or to embrace. Which path will you take? If you find yourself struggling with change, ask yourself, what am I afraid of? What would happen if I let go of control? What if, instead of resisting, I welcome new experiences with an open heart? Let go. Flow with life. That is where true peace begins. Neglecting inner peace, the unseen chaos. Sit with me for a moment. Take a deep breath. Feel the air entering your body, filling your lungs. Now, let it go. Do you feel that? The stillness between breaths? That is peace. But for many, that peace is lost. Not because the world is noisy, but because the mind is restless. As we grow older, we expect life to become quieter, calmer, more peaceful. But does it? Or do new worries take the place of old ones? Many people after 60 find themselves feeling unsettled. The world is moving fast, but inside, something feels off. A storm rages in the mind. Regrets from the past, fears about the future, loneliness, or a sense of purposelessness. These are the silent thieves of inner peace. You have spent years taking care of everything, your work, your family, your responsibilities. But how much time have you spent taking care of your mind? Imagine a house left unattended. Dust gathers, things break, and soon, it no longer feels like home. The same happens to the mind when we neglect it. We become prisoners of our own thoughts. Many believe that peace comes when everything in life is perfect. But that is an illusion. If we wait for life to be free of problems, we will wait forever. True peace is not the absence of problems. It is the ability to remain calm in the middle of them. Buddhism teaches us that the mind is like a lake. When the wind is strong, the water is disturbed, and we cannot see clearly. But when the wind settles, the water becomes still, and we can see our reflection. The problem is, most people never allow the wind to settle. They hold on to anger, worries, and desires, creating endless ripples in their mind. Think about this. How many thoughts did you have today? How many of them were about something that already happened? How many were about something that hasn't even happened yet? The mind jumps between past and future, never stopping in the present. But the present is the only place where peace exists. Many people after 60 struggle with loneliness. Children grow up, friends move away, and the world feels different. This loneliness is not always physical. Sometimes it is emotional. But is loneliness real, or is it a trick of the mind? If you sit alone but feel complete, are you truly alone? And if you sit in a crowd but feel empty, are you truly surrounded? Buddhism teaches that attachment is the root of suffering. Not just attachment to people, but attachment to how life used to be. The world changes, but the mind resists. We hold on to things that no longer exist, and this creates suffering. Letting go does not mean forgetting. It means accepting. Accepting that change is natural, that nothing is truly ours to keep. Imagine carrying a heavy bag for years. It slows you down, it tires you out, but you refuse to put it down. Why? Because you believe it is part of you. But the moment you let go, you feel light. You feel free. Many people carry the weight of old arguments, disappointments, and unfulfilled desires. But these things are not part of you. You can let them go. Meditation is a way to train the mind, just like exercise trains the body. But meditation is not about sitting in silence and waiting for peace to appear. It is about watching the mind, noticing its patterns, and learning to detach from thoughts. It is about realizing that you are not your thoughts. Just like clouds pass through the sky, thoughts pass through the mind. You are the sky, not the clouds. Ask yourself this. What is stopping you from being at peace right now? Is it something real, or is it just a thought? Is it a memory from the past? A fear about the future? Or is it simply a habit of the mind? Happiness is not something we find. It is something we create. And peace is not something that comes from outside. It is already inside us. We just have to stop looking for it in the wrong places. So, take a deep breath again. Feel the air enter your body. Let it go. And in this moment, even if just for a second, be at peace. Overlooking health, the silent decline. Sit with me for a moment. Breathe in deeply and let it go. Feel your body. Feel your breath. This body, this breath, it has carried you through life. It has seen your joys, your struggles, your moments of laughter, and your moments of pain. And yet, so many people, after the age of 60, begin to neglect the very thing that keeps them alive, their health. Not because they don't care, but because they believe it's already too late. They say, I'm too old to start exercising. They say, what's the point of eating healthy now? They say, this is just how aging works. The body is supposed to break down. But is that really true? Or is it just an excuse? Think of a tree standing tall in a forest. It has grown for many years, its branches reaching toward the sky. But suddenly, it stops receiving water, stops getting sunlight. What happens? The leaves start to dry, the bark begins to crack, and the tree, which once stood strong, starts to wither away. Not because of age, but because of neglect. The body is like that tree. It needs care, attention, and nourishment. Not just when we are young, but at every stage of life. If we stop caring for it, it weakens, not because of time, but because we stopped giving it what it needs. Many people after 60 start to slow down. They move less, rest more. They think this is normal. But the truth is, the less we move, the harder it becomes to move. Muscles weaken, bones become fragile, and simple things, like getting out of a chair or walking up the stairs, become difficult. And then, fear takes over. The fear of falling, the fear of injury, the fear of losing independence. So, they move even less. It becomes a cycle, a slow, painful decline. But it doesn't have to be this way. The Buddha taught that everything in life is connected, mind, body, and spirit. When the body suffers, the mind follows. When the mind is heavy, the body feels weak. If we wish to live fully, we must care for both. Movement is not just about staying strong. It is about honoring this life, this body that carries us. Even the smallest effort, a short walk, gentle stretching, mindful breathing, can bring strength back to the body. And then, there is food. Many people, as they age, stop paying attention to what they eat. They say, I have eaten like this my whole life. Why change now? But the body changes. Digestion slows. The ability to absorb nutrients weakens. What once gave energy may now cause harm. Yet, instead of adapting, many continue the same habits, unaware of how their own food is making them tired, heavy, and sick. Imagine pouring dirty oil into a lamp. The flame burns weaker, the smoke rises, and eventually, the light fades. The same happens to the body. When we eat foods that do not nourish, we dim our own light. But when we choose foods that give life, we bring energy back to our being. The Buddha spoke of the middle way, not too much, not too little. Balance. This applies to food, to movement, to everything we do. There is no need for extremes. You do not have to lift heavy weights or run miles. You do not have to give up every comfort. But you do have to care. You do have to listen to your body. You do have to give it what it needs, not just what your habits desire. And then, there is rest. Some sleep too little. Some sleep too much. Both are harmful. Deep rest is needed for healing, for renewal. But too much time in bed, too much stillness, makes the body weaker. Balance, again, is the key. When we sleep, let it be peaceful. When we wake, let us move with purpose. There is a story in Buddhism. A student asked the master, how do I live long? The master replied, do not fill your cup too much, and do not leave it empty. Walk, but do not run. Rest, but do not sleep away your days. Eat, but do not eat until you are full. This is wisdom, not just for health, but for life itself. The body is not something we own. It is something we borrow from nature, from the universe. It is a gift. But all gifts must be cared for, or they are lost. If you are over 60, do not believe that health is beyond your control. Do not believe that decline is your only path. Every choice you make, what you eat, how you move, how you rest, decides how you feel tomorrow, and the day after that, in the years to come. Aging is not the enemy. Neglect this. Honor your body, and it will honor you in return. Attachment to materialism, chasing shadows. Sit with me for a moment. Breathe. Let the world slow down. Now, look around you. What do you see? Furniture, clothes, jewelry, gadgets, maybe even a car parked outside. Over the years, you have gathered so many things. Some were gifts, some were rewards for your hard work, and some you bought just because you could. But now, ask yourself how much of it truly matters. When you close your eyes, do these things bring you peace? Or is there a quiet emptiness, a feeling that something is still missing? Many people, after 60, find themselves surrounded by possessions, yet feeling strangely unsatisfied. They have the house they wanted, the savings they worked for, the items they once dreamed of owning. But deep inside, there is still a longing, a feeling that life should mean something more. This is because material things are like shadows. They follow us when there is light, but when darkness comes, they disappear. You may have spent years chasing after them, collecting them, protecting them, but in the end, they cannot fill the space inside your heart. Think about it. When you were younger, you worked hard to earn money. Maybe you told yourself, one day, when I have enough, I will finally relax. I will finally be happy. But when that day came, was it enough? Or did you find yourself wanting more? A bigger house, a better car, newer clothes, expensive watches, fine jewelry? This is how attachment works. The more you get, the more you want. And when you finally have what you wanted, fear creeps in, the fear of losing it, the fear of someone taking it away, the fear that it is not enough. But here's the truth, nothing in this world truly belongs to us. Not the money, not the house, not the treasures we collect. Even our own bodies are borrowed for a short time. No matter how tightly we hold on, one day, we must let everything go. So, why do we spend so much of our lives clinging to things? Buddhism teaches us that attachment is the root of suffering. Not because things are bad, but because we give them too much power over our happiness. We attach our self-worth to our wealth. We measure success by what we own. We believe that comfort comes from luxury. But when these things are gone, we feel lost. Imagine a man who spent his whole life building a grand house. He decorated it with the finest furniture, filled it with expensive things, and admired its beauty every day. But one day, a storm came and destroyed it all. The man was devastated. He felt as if his whole life had been taken from him. But was it really his life that was lost? Or just the things he had collected? This is what happens when we mistake possessions for meaning. Now, this does not mean you should give everything away and live with nothing. It simply means you should not let things define you. Enjoy what you have, but do not be a prisoner to it. Use your wealth wisely, but do not let it control you. Ask yourself, if you lost everything tomorrow, would you still be you? Would you still have peace? Would you still know joy? The answer lies not in what you own, but in who you are. A wise person does not find happiness in gold, but in gratitude. They do not seek fulfillment in objects, but in moments. They understand that true wealth is not in the things we keep, but in the love we give, the wisdom we gain, in the peace we cultivate within. There is a story in Buddhism about a monk who lived with only a bowl and a rope. One day, a thief came and took his bowl while he was meditating. The monk opened his eyes, saw the thief running away, and laughed. He said, "Poor man, I wish I could have given you the moon as well." What did he mean? He meant that nothing could truly be taken from him. His peace, his joy, his freedom, they did not depend on a bowl. He had already given up attachment, and because of that, he had already won. This is the freedom that comes when we stop chasing shadows. So, as you sit here now, think about what you hold on to. Are there things in your life that no longer serve you? Are there possessions that take up space but do not bring you peace? Are you still looking for happiness in things, even when your heart tells you it is somewhere else? Maybe it is time to let go. Maybe it is time to shift your focus from what you own to what you experience, from what you buy to what you give, from what you fear losing to what you can never lose. Because in the end, when we leave this world, we take nothing with us. Not our money, not our houses, not our finest clothes. The only thing that remains is the kindness we shared, the wisdom we passed on, and the peace we found within ourselves. So why not start now? Letting go of purpose, the void of emptiness. Sit with me for a moment. Let the world slow down. Take a deep breath. Feel the air enter your lungs, and as you exhale, imagine releasing all the weight you carry. There comes a time in life when everything seems to pause. The days are no longer filled with endless tasks, deadlines, or responsibilities. The world that once needed you so much now seems to move forward without you. Work has ended, children have grown, and society, in its rush, barely notices the quiet ones who step back. And then, a question arises: what is my purpose now? For decades, you had a reason to wake up in the morning. Maybe it was work. Maybe it was raising a family. Maybe it was building something, achieving something, proving something. But now, when all of that is done, what remains? This is the silence that many fear, the emptiness that creeps in when the noise of life fades. But tell me, who told you that purpose is something external? Who told you that purpose is tied to a job, a title, or a role? In Buddhism, we see this differently. Purpose is not something you lose. It is something you are. Look at the trees. They do not chase achievements, yet they provide shade, bear fruit, and stand strong through all seasons. Look at the rivers. They do not seek recognition, yet they nourish all life around them. Do you think they feel lost when they change course? No. They simply flow. You were like that too. You were not just what you did in the past. You were not just a worker, a parent, a provider. You were a being, a presence, a life that still matters. The problem is that society taught us that purpose must be something big, something seen, something admired. But what if purpose is simply being here, fully, in this moment? Many people after 60 fall into sadness because they believe they no longer have a role to play. They wake up without a schedule, without meetings, without the need to rush anywhere. And instead of embracing the peace of this new chapter, they feel lost. They begin to believe that life is over, that they are no longer useful. But tell me, is a flower useless because it is no longer a seed? Is the moon meaningless because it does not shine like the sun? No. Everything has its time, and everything is its own purpose. There is a story in Zen Buddhism about a wise old monk and a young disciple. The disciple once asked, "Master, what is my purpose in life?" The monk smiled and said, "Have you ever seen a bird sing?" The disciple nodded. Did it need a reason to sing? The disciple thought for a moment, then shook his head. The monk said, "Then why do you?" We are always trying to become something instead of just being. We want labels, identities, missions. But what if your purpose now is simply to exist fully, with awareness and peace? What if, instead of searching for something to do, you start experiencing life as it is? There is a great misunderstanding about purpose. Many people believe it must be about giving to others. That is a beautiful path, but it is not the only one. Some believe purpose must be about learning new things. That too is wonderful, but it is not the only way. What if purpose can also be about being at peace with yourself? Imagine a candle. When it is burning, it provides light for others. But even when no one is watching, it still glows. Your presence is enough. You do not have to prove your worth. You do not have to chase meaning. You are meaning. But I know this is easier said than done. We have spent our whole lives believing that we must always be useful, always be productive, always be something. And now, when that something is gone, we feel empty. But maybe, just maybe, this emptiness is not something to fear. Maybe it is an invitation. An invitation to be still. An invitation to observe. An invitation to return to yourself. Buddhism teaches us the beauty of impermanence. Everything changes, and that is not a tragedy, it is life. The tree does not fight when its leaves fall in autumn. It does not cry over what it has lost. It stands, knowing that spring will come again. Your life is not over. It is simply changing seasons. So what can you do now? First, breathe. Feel your own existence. Let go of the idea that you must have an answer to everything. Purpose does not have to be something grand. It can be as simple as waking up and appreciating the sky. Second, let go of comparison. You are not the person you were at 30 or 40, and that is beautiful. You are wiser, deeper, more aware. Instead of mourning what is gone, celebrate what remains. Third, Open yourself to the present. Do not live in memories of what was or fears of what will be. Sit with yourself, here and now. Make tea. Feel the warmth of the cup in your hands. Listen to the sound of the wind outside. Watch the way the sunlight dances through the leaves. This is life. This is purpose. And finally, trust in your own being. The universe does not make mistakes. You are still here because you are still meant to be. Whether you find joy in simple moments, in spiritual growth, in kindness to others, or in quiet reflection, you are enough as you are. So do not fear this stage of life. Do not believe the lie that you have lost your purpose. You have not lost anything. You have simply entered a new way of being. Embrace it. Live it. Be at peace with it. And when you do, you will realize you are never lost at all. Breaking relationships, the self-isolation trap. Sit with me for a moment. Breathe in. Feel the air enter your body. Now breathe out. Let go of whatever is weighing on your heart. Aging is not just about the body changing. It is about the world around you changing, too. Friends move away. Family members get busy. Loved ones pass on. And somewhere in this shift, many people begin to withdraw. They stop reaching out. They stop talking. They start believing that being alone is easier. But is it? In Buddhism, we say, no one walks the path alone. And yet, so many people over 60 choose isolation, not because they want to, but because they believe they have no other choice. Perhaps they feel forgotten. Perhaps they have been hurt. Or perhaps they think they have nothing left to offer. But let me ask you this. When a tree stands alone in a field, does it stop giving shade? Does it stop bearing fruit? No. It continues, because that is its nature. Many people, as they grow older, let go of their relationships. They stop calling their old friends. They distance themselves from their children. They avoid social gatherings, thinking, what's the point? And slowly, without realizing it, they build walls around themselves. At first, those walls feel like protection. But over time, they turn into a prison. Think of a river. It flows freely, touching every rock, every leaf, every piece of earth it meets. But if you block the river, it becomes stagnant. It loses its purity. This is what happens when we isolate ourselves. Humans are meant to connect. We are meant to share stories, laughter, wisdom, and even silence. But when we cut ourselves off, we suffer. Why do people do this? Sometimes, it is because of pride. They should call me first, we say. If they care, they will reach out. But that thinking is a trap. The truth is, everyone is busy fighting their own battles. People get caught up in their lives, their struggles, their own thoughts. They don't always realize that someone is waiting for them to reach out. Other times, it is because of past hurts. Maybe a friend betrayed you. Maybe a child said something unkind. Maybe a loved one disappointed you. And so, you close your heart. You tell yourself, I don't need them. But deep down, you do. Not because you are weak, but because connection is what keeps the heart alive. A wound ignored does not heal, it festers. And the longer you carry resentment, the heavier it becomes. And then there is fear. The fear of being rejected. The fear of not being needed anymore. The fear that if you reach out, no one will answer. But what if I told you that this fear is just an illusion? What if I told you that the only way to break it is to step through it? I once heard a story of an old man who lived alone. He had children, but they rarely visited. He had friends, but they had drifted away. One day, he decided he was tired of being alone. So, he picked up his phone and called an old friend. I was just thinking about you, the friend said. That one call led to another. And another. Soon, he started going for walks with old friends. He reconnected with his family. His days were no longer silent. His heart no longer heavy. What changed? He did. Buddhism teaches us the power of compassion, not just for others, but for ourselves. When we cut ourselves off, we are being unkind to ourselves. We are denying ourselves the warmth of connection. If you feel lonely, do not wait for someone to find you. Be the one to reach out. Think of a candle. If it lights another candle, does it lose its own flame? No. It only makes the world brighter. You are that candle. Your words, your presence, your kindness, they have the power to bring light into someone's life. And in doing so, your own life will shine brighter, too. Do not let ego stop you. Do not let past pain hold you prisoner. Do not let fear control your heart. If you miss someone, tell them. If you love someone, show them. If you feel alone, step forward. The door is not locked. You only have to open it. Aging is not about fading away. It is about deepening your roots. It is about sharing the wisdom you have gathered. It is about keeping the river of connection flowing. Loneliness is a choice, but so is love. Choose love. Choose connection. Choose life. Ignoring spiritual growth, the forgotten path. Sit with me for a moment. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, and listen, not to my words, but to the silence between them. Do you hear it? That gentle hum beneath all the noise of life? That is the sound of something greater, something many forget as they grow older. Life is like a river. When we are young, the current is strong. We are carried forward by dreams, responsibilities, and the chase for success. But as the years pass, the current slows. We reach a point where we sit by the riverbank, watching the water move, wondering where it will take us next. And in this moment, a question arises: what have we been flowing toward all along? For many, the focus has always been on external things: money, relationships, achievements, possessions. But when the river slows, these things start to lose their weight. The job is gone. The children have their own lives. The body does not move as it once did. And then, a quiet emptiness creeps in. A feeling that something is missing. This is the moment when spiritual growth matters most. But here's the mistake. Most people ignore it. They continue searching outside for something that can only be found within. They fill their days with distractions, watching television for hours, scrolling through endless news, worrying about things that no longer serve them. They avoid silence because silence brings questions. Who am I now? What was the purpose of it all? What happens next? These questions can be unsettling, so they turn away from them. Buddhism teaches us that ignoring our inner world is like having a home with a beautiful garden but never stepping outside to see it. The garden is always there, full of peace, full of wisdom, but we keep the doors shut. Spiritual growth is not about religion. It is not about belief. It is about looking inward, understanding ourselves, and freeing ourselves from suffering. Many people over 60 believe it is too late to change. They think, I have lived my life a certain way for so long. What difference does it make now? But the truth is, spiritual growth does not have a deadline. It is not about how many years are behind you. It is about what you do with the years ahead. Even a single moment of awareness can change everything. There is a story in Buddhism about a man who spent his whole life chasing success. He worked hard, built a great fortune, but never looked inward. One day, he met a Zen master and asked, I have achieved so much, but I still feel empty. What should I do? The master smiled and handed him a cup of tea. The man watched as the master poured tea into the cup, but even when the cup was full, the master kept pouring. The tea spilled over, running onto the table. The man shouted, Stop. The cup is full. The master nodded and said, Just like this cup, your mind is full. You must first empty it before you can receive anything new. This is the lesson we must learn. Many people after 60 are like that full cup. Their minds are filled with old beliefs, regrets, fears, and attachments. They hold on to the past, not realizing that true peace comes from letting go. The spiritual path is about emptying the cup, releasing everything that no longer serves us, so we can finally experience life fully. But how do we begin? It is simpler than you think. First, embrace silence. Spend time each day in stillness. No television, no phone, no distractions. Just you and your breath. Listen to the sound of the wind, the birds, the distant hum of the world. In that silence, you will begin to hear something you have long forgotten, your own soul speaking. Second, practice mindfulness. Whatever you do, do it fully. When you eat, taste every bite. When you walk, feel the ground beneath your feet. When you speak, be aware of your words. This simple practice turns everyday life into a meditation. Third, let go of the need to control. Many people spend their later years trying to control everything: their children's lives, their financial future, even how they will be remembered. But control is an illusion. The more we try to hold on, the more we suffer. The way to peace is to trust, to allow life to unfold as it will, without resistance. Finally, forgive yourself and others. Many carry the weight of past mistakes, old grudges, things left unsaid. But why hold on? What is the purpose of carrying a heavy bag when you no longer need to travel far? Let it go. Free yourself. In forgiveness, there is lightness. In lightness, there is peace. There is a saying in Buddhism, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is now. It is never too late to grow, to awaken, to find the deep, unshakable peace that has been within you all along. But you must choose it. You must step outside, open the doors to your inner garden, and walk among the trees of wisdom that have been waiting for you all these years. And as you do, something amazing will happen. The fear of aging will fade. The regrets will soften. The emptiness will be replaced by a quiet, profound joy. Because in the end, life was never about what we achieved. It was about how deeply we've lived, how freely we've loved, and how peacefully we let go. The journey does not end at 60. If anything, the real journey is just beginning. Misunderstanding happiness, the endless search. Sit with me for a moment. Take a deep breath. Let go of all thoughts, just for now. Do you feel that stillness? That moment of quiet? This is where happiness truly lives. But most people never stop long enough to notice. They are too busy searching for happiness somewhere else, chasing it like a butterfly, always just out of reach. For many, happiness is something to be achieved. They believe it will come when they have enough money, when their children are settled, when their health is perfect, when life finally gives them everything they desire. But life does not work that way. It keeps changing, like the river that never stops flowing. You can try to hold water in your hands, but no matter how tight your grip, it slips away. People over 60 often feel like happiness should have arrived by now. They have worked hard, raised families, built homes, saved money. But instead of contentment, many feel a strange emptiness. They ask, why am I not as happy as I thought I would be? Some try to fill the emptiness by buying things, keeping busy, or distracting themselves. Others keep looking back, wishing they had made different choices, believing happiness was left behind somewhere in the past. But happiness is not in the past. It is not in the future. It is here, in this very moment. The problem is, we are never fully here. Our mind keeps running, worrying, regretting, planning. And in doing so, we miss the simple, quiet joy that is always present. Imagine a man who has spent his whole life climbing a mountain, thinking happiness waits at the top. He struggles, he sacrifices, he pushes himself harder and harder. Finally, he reaches the peak. But instead of joy, he feels lost. He looks around and asks, is this it? The wind is cold, the climb has made him tired, and now he does not know what to do next. This is how many people feel after a lifetime of searching. They have reached where they thought happiness would be, only to realize it is not there. Buddhism teaches that happiness is not something to be found, it is something to be uncovered. Like the sun hidden behind clouds, it is always there, but our own thoughts, desires, and fears cover it up. We must learn to remove the clouds, not chase after the sun. One of the greatest mistakes people make after 60 is believing happiness depends on something outside of them. They wait for their children to call, for their health to improve, for their financial worries to disappear. But the truth is, happiness does not wait for perfect conditions. It is available now, in this very breath, in this very moment. Think about this. A cup of tea on a quiet morning, the warmth of the sun on your face, the laughter of a grandchild, the simple act of sitting without hurry. These are not grand achievements, yet they contain deep joy. But most people overlook them because they are busy looking for something bigger. Some think happiness means being entertained all the time. They fill their days with television, news, gossip, or endless distractions. But these things do not bring real happiness. They only keep the mind occupied, never allowing it to be still. And in that restlessness, true peace is lost. Others think happiness is about avoiding all suffering. But life is never without pain. Loved ones pass away. The body changes. The world does not always act as we wish. If we believe happiness is the absence of problems, we will always be disappointed. Instead, We must learn to accept both joy and sorrow, knowing that neither stays forever. Let me tell you a story. There was once a wise monk who had a beautiful teacup. He loved this teacup dearly, admiring its fine craftsmanship. But every time he drank from it, he reminded himself, this cup is already broken. People thought this was strange. But the cup is not broken, they said. It is perfect. The monk smiled and replied, to me, it is already broken. That is why I enjoy it so much. Because I know that one day it will fall and shatter. Nothing lasts forever. And so, I cherish it fully in this moment. This is the secret to happiness. When we understand that everything is temporary, we stop clinging so tightly. We stop demanding that things stay the same. And in doing so, we become free. If you are over 60 and still searching for happiness, stop searching. Instead, start noticing. Pay attention to the small moments. Appreciate what you have now, not what you wish was different. Let go of regrets, let go of worries, and simply be here. The greatest peace is found not in chasing life, but in fully living it. Happiness is not something you find at the end of the journey. It is something that has been walking beside you all along. You only need to slow down enough to see it. Fear of death, the ultimate illusion. Sit with me for a moment. Breathe in. Feel the air enter your lungs. Breathe out. Let it go. This breath, like every breath before it, comes and goes. You do not hold on to it. You do not fear its passing. Yet, when it comes to life itself, you cling. You fear the final breath, as if it is the end. But tell me, when a wave returns to the ocean, does it disappear? Or does it simply become one with something greater? For many, the thought of death is like a shadow that never leaves their side. It whispers in moments of silence. It lingers in the stillness of night. It is the great unknown, the thing we cannot control, the final step we must all take. And yet, what is it that we truly fear? Do we fear death itself? Or do we fear that we have not lived enough? Think of a candle burning in a dark room. The flame flickers, dances, and gives light. One day, the wax will be gone, and the flame will vanish. But is it truly gone? Or has it simply become part of the warmth that remains in the room, part of the light that touched the walls, part of the moments it illuminated? In Buddhism, we do not see death as an end. It is a transition, a change in form, like a river that flows into the sea. Clinging to life with fear does not stop death. It only stops you from truly living. Imagine holding a handful of sand. The tighter you grip it, the more it slips through your fingers. But if you hold it gently, it remains. Life is the same. Fear makes you hold too tightly, and in doing so, you miss the beauty of the moment. Many people over 60 begin to think more about death. Some try to avoid the thought, distracting themselves with busy routines. Others become consumed by it, living each day with a quiet anxiety. But both paths lead to suffering. The truth is, fear of death is fear of the unknown. And what do we do when we fear the dark? We turn on the light. The light is awareness. The light is understanding. When you truly see death, not as a monster, but as part of the natural cycle, the fear loosens its grip. Imagine a tree in autumn. Its leaves turn golden, then brown, then fall to the earth. Does the tree weep for its leaves? Or does it stand still, knowing that new leaves will come when spring arrives? In many ways, we are like those leaves. We are part of something greater, something vast and endless. The body may fall, but what we have given, what we have shared, the love, the wisdom, the kindness, these things do not disappear. They continue. But if you spend your days fearing death, you will miss the time you still have. You will sit in the garden, looking only at the gate, wondering when it will open, instead of enjoying the flowers that bloom around you. If you knew you had only 1 week left to live, would you waste time fearing the end? Or would you embrace every sunrise, every laugh, every moment of peace? Buddhism teaches us to accept impermanence. Nothing lasts forever, not pain, not joy, not even life itself. But that is not something to fear. It is something to understand. When you accept impermanence, you find freedom. You stop fighting the flow of the river, and instead, you learn to float. Many people believe they must prepare for death by securing their wealth, making arrangements, tying up loose ends. These things are important, but they are not the true preparation. The real preparation is in how you live. Have you made peace with yourself? Have you forgiven the mistakes of your past? Have you given love without condition? These are the things that matter when the final breath comes. And here is a secret. When you stop fearing death, you start living fully. Every meal tastes richer. Every conversation becomes meaningful. Every moment feels like a gift. Because you are no longer waiting for the end. You are here. You are present. Do not let fear steal the time you have left. Sit under the sun. Feel the wind on your face. Listen to the laughter of children, the rustling of leaves, the sound of your own heartbeat. These are the things that matter. Not how long you live, but how deeply you live. And when the time comes, do not be afraid. Like a traveler who has walked a long road, you will simply take one last step. You will not be lost. You will return home. Conclusion. Embracing the wisdom of aging. Sit down. Take a deep breath. Feel the air moving in and out of your body. The journey we have taken together has reached its final step, but the path of wisdom continues. Aging is not an end. It is not a curse. It is not something to fear. It is a transformation, a shift from chasing to understanding, from holding on to letting go. It is the time when life whispers its greatest lessons, but only if we are ready to listen. So, tell me, after everything we have explored, what do you see when you look back? Regret? Worry? Or do you finally see that the weight you have been carrying was never really yours to hold? The past is like a river. It flows away from us, no matter how tightly we try to grasp it. The future? A mist that has not yet formed. But here, in this very moment, is where life truly exists. Many people fear growing old because they believe it means losing something: youth, strength, opportunities. But what if I told you that aging is not about losing, but about gaining? Gaining wisdom, gaining freedom, gaining a deeper connection to the truth of life. The only mistake is resisting this gift. Think of a tree. When it is young, it reaches upward, stretching toward the sky, competing for sunlight, fighting to grow. But as it ages, it becomes strong, rooted, steady. It no longer fights. It stands in peace, offering shade to others, embracing the winds that pass through its branches. It does not resist the seasons, it flows with them. This is the wisdom of aging. And yet, many people do not allow themselves to embrace this wisdom. They cling to what they were instead of accepting what they are. They fear change instead of welcoming it. They isolate themselves, believing they have become irrelevant, when in truth, they hold the most valuable knowledge of all. Do you see it now? The world is trying to tell you that aging is a problem, that growing older means becoming weak, that your value decreases with time. But the truth is, time is the great teacher. And if you have walked this far, you have earned something that no young person can ever claim: experience. Yet, experience alone is not enough. Wisdom is not just what you have lived through, but what you have learned from it. It is the ability to take all the mistakes, all the lessons, all the joys and sorrows, and shape them into something meaningful, to share them, to guide others, to live with peace instead of regret. There are many mistakes people make after 60. Some hold on to past wounds, carrying pain that no longer serves them. Others chase material things, trying to fill a void that cannot be filled. Some let go of their purpose, believing that their time is over. But nothing is truly over until you decide it is. So, what will you do? Will you spend your remaining years fighting what cannot be changed? Or will you choose peace? Will you choose to live fully and deeply in every moment that is given to you? There is a Buddhist teaching that says, you cannot travel the path until you have become the path itself. What does this mean? It means that wisdom is not just something you read about. It is not just something you understand. It is something you must live. If you want peace, you must become peace. If you want happiness, you must become happiness. This is the secret that so many miss. They keep searching for something outside of themselves, when all along, the answer was within. You are not your past. You are not your mistakes. You are not your fears. You are the awareness that sees all of these things. And in that awareness, there is freedom. Let go of what no longer serves you. Forgive yourself for what is past. Live each day not as a burden, but as a gift. There is nothing left to chase. Nothing left to prove. You have already arrived. Now, it is time to enjoy the journey. Before we end, let me remind you, there are so many views on this channel, but only 0.2% subscribed. If this journey has brought you even a single moment of insight, do not let it end here. Like, comment, share, and subscribe to Stoic Journey. Your support allows us to continue sharing wisdom, and your thoughts in the comments may help someone who needs to hear them. Thank you for walking this path with me. The journey does not end, but for now, we pause. May you live with wisdom, may you live with peace, and may you embrace the beauty of aging with an open heart.